Hello, my loves. This is Kamoto Louisa Siama, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I am just a 30-year-old living in South Africa, navigating the world in my 30s and sharing my journey as I go. If you if you relate, you can stay. If you don't, but you're curious, you can stay. And if this is not for you, then I hope you find your tribe. To all my returning subscribers, my people, my people, how are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're doing good, and I'm excited to talk to you again, to see how you're doing, to see if you're okay. How are you? How are you? Welcome back. And this Monday morning, I'm popping in to say hi, to check in on myself and to check in on you. This is funny. I was just reading a comment now on my YouTube studio, and they were asking me where I am, and I responded obviously, and I was like, man, what am I doing? I missed you guys, and I wanted to shoot last week. I was just not in the right frame of mind, and while I want to share my journey, some parts of my journey I want to keep private, you know, and I don't know how I'm gonna do that and still be consistent, but I just wanna come here today and just celebrate you for checking in on me, and thank you so much. And also just check in on everybody else around you. Don't just check in on me. Check in on everybody else around you and see how they are doing, you know? Literally my version of me preparing to come on and shoot is me putting on something on my head or just brushing my hair and putting on some earrings, yes, and some lip gloss. Easy, simple, you know. But we are here. On this Monday, I was very busy last week. We went to just a couple of funerals, and I was just busy. I was busy, busy, busy. I think last week my regrets was not posting my blog. Yeah, my blog, you know. By the way, if you are not looking at my descriptions on my videos and clicking on the link to my blog, The Summer of 35, why are you here? Why are you here? Because you're not committed. You're not committed. You're not committed to me. You're not committed to this journey. Why? I'm not chatting. But anyway, please feel free to go look and read my blog. And if you're inspired, also just comment there and let's have a conversation about what I'm saying and how it relates to your life. Yeah. As you can see, it's a different shooting area. Ah, ah. I decided I'm just gonna do something different today and see how I can film here. Yeah, my door's here, and this is the wall, and this is a very clear, nice background. So I was like, dope, 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 dope. Okay, I want to share my thoughts. I heard a quote on some social media platform just I think 2 weeks ago, and I was reflecting on life and the decisions that were presented to me, and the decisions that are presented to many of us, living in black communities, living in the hood. Yeah, the hood, actually. Why am I putting it in air quotes? Living in the hood and living in very underdeveloped, under-resourced places, and seeing the decisions a lot of girls, a lot of women, a lot of men make, and those options somewhat, might not be as drastic, but they were presented to me also. And this quote went about like this. It's not the choices that you were presented with, but the decisions that you made. And immediately, I was like, oh my word, this is so true. And here's why, you know, it's not it's not the choices that you were presented with that ultimately defines who you are and your life, you know? It's the decisions that you made with the choices that you were presented with that ultimately creates the person that you will one day see, and reflect on and say, yeah, this was good, and it was good that I was afflicted, or man, I'm definitely weak in a crisis, you know? And that's not to shame anybody who's going through just a rough time in life. That's not to victim blame anybody. But it is to say that we are all given choices, and what we do with those choices really matter. I remember, my sister's awake. I remember one instance when this was 2020. I was working at a school, and it was round about that time, you know, that 2020 time. And some white man reached out to me on Instagram, and he approached me in light of, oh, I see that you're catering. What is your send me a quotation for 50 people? And okay, I was like, white man. And he was like, my budget is 70K. And I was like, what is this? Huh. Immediately, 2 days later, I sent him a quotation. And then the conversation now shifts from I need a quotation and I have 70K to send me a full picture. I like black women. Send me, do you have cellulite? Ugh, those kind of questions. I was like, what is happening? Mind you, at that time, I'm entering my 30s. I'm entering my 30s, not yet. And here's a man talking all these things and, throwing all this potential money at me. I'm like, bruh, you know. In my mind, I thought about it and I was like, man, I think this guy is soliciting, you know. And let's see the exchange between me and him, and let's see if this is an option. I don't want to lie to you. Let's see if this is an option. This is what I entertained. And lo behold, man, this conversation moved from clittering and invoice and quotation and all those things to I'll give you 3K a week if we meet, I think, once a week at a hotel. I was getting paid 3K a month if that month we were getting paid. If you've worked for government, you know. And this man is telling me I'll give you 3K a week for one day with you. That was a what? That was a choice that I was presented with. I later on just didn't take, not obviously, but I didn't take the opportunity. I didn't make that choice. And, you know, logically, monetarily, it would have been a nice option. It would have been a nice deal. Um, but by that time, I was still pure. I was still pure. Yeah, and I wasn't about to do those things. And while I did contemplate it, I later on just didn't take the opportunity because it didn't make sense to me in the long run. I thought if I make this choice now, then other choices like this would be presented to me. And mind you, he was telling me about how he funds celebrities, how he buys this car, how he's gonna fetch me in Range Rover, and I was sending him locations. The desperation I had, but I was like, nah, man, nah, 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 nah. And he kept on, but I was like, no, 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 it's not gonna work, right? Oh well. So I say that to illustrate the fact that we have choices that are presented to us, and we have decisions that we have to make out of those choices, right? For me, that year also was a very defining year. I think the next year, yeah, it was also a defining year where I was like, okay, cool. I'm tired. Um, I just wanna date and feel loved and feel, like I'm part of like a partnership with somebody and we can just do life together. And that was the year, the first time. And this is very it's very this conversation is everywhere. But I want to I want to share my story and share with you just the choices that I've had to make and the decisions I've had to make and the choices that were presented to me. And so that year I was like, okay, cool. Um, yeah, man, I think I'm ready. Let's do it. But years prior to that, years prior to that, I deeply and heavily relied on my faith as well as my strict mother, but as well as my own values and beliefs. And I believed that yeah, it was gonna happen in marriage and all those things. Yeah, and a lot of people, not a lot of people, so many people after the fact, as I navigated dating, they always reminded me, don't share, don't share, don't share, don't share, don't share that information because they're gonna use it against you. And I was like, this is very, very weird. Dating is very, very weird and very just sexualized. And why is it? You know? Just yesterday, I was listening to this other YouTuber who explained the difference between courtship and dating, and how courtship is the intentionality of dating and being in a romantic partnership, but with the intention of marriage. That's what it's going to lead you. And dating is just like romantic dating, just to get in to know somebody. It has no direction. Just the difference between courtship and dating, that's what it is. And I was like, oh my God, I've never heard it being said like that. I'm sure people don't even understand that. But this is me today. And this is what I know today, not back then. And yeah, we grow with information. We grow with you exposing yourself to knowledge and you just opening up to knowledge. And there's a lot of lessons that one can take from the previous generations of people, or people who have gone before you and experienced life. And that's not to say that you must not experience life for yourself and you must not have your own experiences, but that is to say that not everybody needs to go through the fire to know that it's hard, you know? And maybe this is my message to you. You don't have to go through the fire to know that it's hard, and I'm saying this in view or in light of the fact that in my 20s, a lot of the the relationships or the prospective people who wanted to date, when we had that conversation, I was either blue ticked, I was either ghosted, I was either just ignored, and some people were like, "No, this is very important to me." So that's not to say that I didn't try dating outside of or within those constraints, but it is to say that I experienced a lot of rejection, and I was just tired and just over it, and I didn't want to be the 40-year-old virgin. I don't, that's not my desire. That's not a desire that I have. I want to be married. I want to have children, and I want to build a future with somebody who wants the same things and who shares the same values and shares the same beliefs. So, and I never wanted to. So this is coming up to me. It's very important. Uh, there's something about Romans, I think 12. It speaks to me so much these days. It says, therefore, or in view of God's mercy, offer yourselves as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. For this is a spiritual act of worship. Yeah. So therefore, in light of God's mercies, in light of his mercy, offer yourselves as a living sacrifice and holy and pleasing to God, for this is a spiritual act of worship. Verse 2, it says, do not comply to the customs of this world. Do not conform any longer to the pattern. Pattern is the way things are done in this world. Do not comply to the way things are done in this world any longer, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. With what? The word of God, I would assume. I'm assuming this because in Joshua, God says, don't be strong and courageous and meditate upon my word day and night. And the psalmist says, may my meditations be pleasing unto you. So as we read the word of God, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked or sit in the seat of mockers, but his delight is in the word of God, upon which I believe he meditates or he reads day and night. I'm paraphrasing, but the point is when we immerse ourselves, when we meditate upon the word of God and we allow it to transform us, then we get to have just a deeper relationship and a deeper understanding and a deeper revelation of God's plans for this world and for our lives, And Romans 12 continues to say, after be transformed by the renewing of our minds. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, his pleasing, and his perfect will. Read all of Romans 12 and just read it for yourself and understand, right? So it's just, this has been echoing in my head, my ears all this time. And also I've been studying on just churches versus cults and how people are so misled because they lack information. And I wondered, as much as I want to come back to God, as much as I want to make a different decision about where I am, I don't want to be the same Kamota that I was in church for I was a prodigal. I don't want to be that same person. I don't want to just follow blindly another man's revelation of God's word and not have an intimate relationship with God myself. And so that's began just me exploring and understanding and researching and just immersing myself in how I get back to God, how I get back to building a relationship with him and how his ways and just understanding his ways versus the world's ways. I think that's why Romans is very profound for me in this season, and just particularly Romans 12. I want to tell you guys, I've been anxious. I've been at the last time, or the second last time I posted was a time where I was like, man, I've been doing this. I've been running this business. I've been pushing. I hope I've pressed record, because there was a time where I didn't press record and I was just going. Let me check. Okay, cool. I pressed record. So this led me to I've been so tired. I've if I tell you, I've been pushing, I've been working hard, I've been toiling, you know. I damn near went to a different province and tried to hustle and bustle there. And there were jobs, but they were temporary and it wasn't even enough to pay for my bills. I crashed with a friend, and that didn't work out. I came back home, I was depressed. I tried this farming and just this, living off the land situation. And I realized, as much as I love it, I love cooking food. I felt like being a chef and that dream really betrayed me. I was bitter. I was bitter, I was angry, and I resented the choices that I made to choose this career, to serve so long in church, and to not have a clear direction and not be selfish about my time. This is not all coming at once, but when I reflect, I was like, man, I've been working. The past 2 years alone, I have, past 4 years actually, well, since my 30s, I have tried three things: running a business, studying. Well, I have done, not tried, I've done three things: running a business, learning, learning something as well, learning two things, as well as, looking for work where I can and just making money, not only from my business, because I want to be wealthy. I desire for myself to be very wealthy and have multiple streams of income, not just rely on one. Doesn't make sense. Throughout these years, I have studied teaching English as a foreign language. I was denied because I don't have a university degree, even though I'm a native English speaker. I applied over two platforms. Yeah, over two major platforms, and the one platform they were like, no, require a degree, and the other platform I was supposed to have like a video, but I just ended up not doing it. I was like, oh, I was tired. Because I think before then I had even applied somewhere else, and they were just, so the degree thing really just set me back. And mind you, I have an equivalent to a national diploma. And even with that, I have over 2,000 hours, but I still can't apply to get my diploma because I need to have the 2,000 hours distributed into the different sections within the hospitality industry. And I just focused on being a chef. So, and when 2020 came in, I was like, yo, I don't even know why I'm sharing this. This is not me. I'm hoping that my story resonates with somebody because I don't even like you in my business like that. I don't, and I don't want to. I don't do this for views, but I do this so that somebody can know that, ooh, there is a God out there. There is a God out there, and there are forces out there fighting, and you need to be informed and not be lazy. Okay, so I'm not going to continue with my story, but I'll say this about that. Going back to, it's not the choices that you had, but it's the decisions that you made. This year, or this around 2 months ago, 2 weeks, no, three, yeah, just a month ago or so, I decided, man, I'm so tired of doing these things and nothing is popping. I'm tired of the promise of almost, and it never reaches maturity. Clearly, I'm doing something. I'm doing something wrong, or something is not clicking, and I want to reset. And the time that I felt at most myself was when I was in line was when I was aligned to my spirituality. And so I was like, okay, cool. Let me just take time. Let me just take time. Let me stop. Just stop running. Stop running, girl. Stop running. Figure out what the problem is, and diagnose, because I'm 2 seconds from doing doing other things to make money. I'm 2 seconds from really saying, man, forget all these things. Forget all this cute girl, um, hey, nice girl, honest girl, la, la, la. Forget all these things. I'm 2 seconds away from a lot of things. So relax yourself. Stop being desperate. Focus. Focus. Slow down. Cancel everything. Slow down and find yourself again. And this will surely help you, because you've been in constant battle. You've been in constant battle, and it has not worked for you outside of God's blessings, outside of God's grace. And if you really want to be honest with yourself, that's where you that's where things started going left. I was like, okay, cool. I I'm not too proud to say I was wrong. I'm not too proud to say I need help. I'm not too proud to say I made a mistake here and I'm willing to learn. I did that, and I had to just stop a lot of things, including just blogging, and just really reflect. Just really just really seek and understand. When I tell you about just last year, how I battled with my teeth, how I went to over 10, over 10 hospital visits, clinics, hospital, or private practice for my teeth. God, I was like, I'm losing even my beauty, and I'm not even married. I don't even have kids. Now my chances are drastically just depleting. And I'm out here just laboring, just laboring in my masculine, in my I can do this. I got this. No, you don't got this. I bought shoes in December. By March, April, their soles were just off, done, because of walking. Is this gonna be your life forever? Because I see myself now. I see how bitter I am. I see how tired I am, how irritable I am, how exhausted I am, how it just feels like I lack direction, and I'm asking myself now, is this gonna be me forever? Because if it is, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live like this. And I almost just don't want to live if this is gonna be life. So call it a great reset and call it just me realizing that I need God. I need to find myself. I need to center myself. And then I need to have power enough to call it that rather. And so that's what I've been journeying towards. And maybe maybe in light of sharing this, I'm hoping that for you it will be the story of mine will be a catalyst for you to really introspect, really see when was the last time you really had fun? When was the last time you were at peace? You were not anxious. You were not depressed. You were not using vices. I was a heavy on weed. And I'll share that at another time. But I was heavy on weed, bro. I I rolled my own blunts. I bought my own packets. I bought all the elements, and even the munchies. I was there, and I was like, man, this got me through, and this quailed my screaming mind. But is this gonna be forever? Is this really good for you? In light of the fact that you want to have kids. And so it was this introspection, this just dialogue with me, and how I just felt very tired and just I don't wanna move like this forever. What is the next option? Let's go back to God. Because while you didn't have a lot of things then, you definitely didn't have anxiety like you have now. You didn't even have anxiety, you were just at peace. And I'm not saying that it is la-di-da all good and all positive and oh goodness. No, I'm not saying that. There are hardships that will come, but man, it's different. It's different when you're doing it alone. It's different. It's different. Trust me, it's different. I don't even know how to explain it. I just know that you should trust me when I say it's different. And maybe one day you'll experience it for yourself. When you have to make that decision, when you have to, really face your situation, face your life. Yeah, that is different. And so here I am on a Monday, dropping bombs. But I hope one person is inspired and is driven to change and begins to seek clarity and understanding. I'll share one day about my journey of exploring spiritual or African spirituality. I'll share my journey in one day of how I got into weed and was addicted for a couple of years because this is my journey. And I'll share my journey as and when God allows, and as and when I feel comfortable to reveal that, and when the time is right. But I think I thank you for being here. I thank you for taking your data and listening to my story, seeing my growth, and being inspired. I hope that you will begin to reflect on your journey and what it is that you need to resolve. And I hope that you do it. I hope that you I hope that you yield to you. Yield to the version of yourself you want to see come out before you die. I hope that you yield to a power that you know has all the best intentions for you. I hope that you yield. And I think this is for women, a lot of a woman specifically, the yielding part. To Black women, we've been adultified very soon, very early in life, and we have been given responsibilities that we were not supposed to be given. And because of the circumstances that we live in, because of the system that we live in, we had to grow up very fast. And our mothers had to grow up very fast. Our grandmothers had to grow up very fast. So there was never a race. There was never a soft version of us. There was never a version of Black woman that is really safe and secure in in their trust of community. I hope this makes sense. But I really pray for a surrounding and a community and a generation that will allow and that will create a space for that kind of woman. You know, I'm always hearing the Black angry woman trope, have to survive trope. And it's never imposed on other races, sadly. Obviously, I can't speak for everybody. I'm a Black woman, but I hope you find the softer version of you, the version of you that allows yourself to be rather than to constantly perform, allows yourself to be taken care of, but to also take care of yourself and listen, have a discerning spirit and have a heart that is connected to your well-being and to the best version of you. Yeah. I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. I hope that you I hope that you have a conversation with me about this. And yeah, man, let's go. I'll be posting once a week now. I'll be posting once a week until I get back on my tea. But yeah, hopefully just a couple of more weeks, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, take care of yourself, do well, and be your own light. Be your own light. Love and lights come with the Louisa Siema. I'll see you when I see you. I'll see you when I see you. And when I see you, say hi. Don't ask me. Don't ask me questions. When you see me, say hi. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome back. Just do that. But also just thank you. Thank you once again to all my 137 subscribers. Hello. Hello. We are moving. We are moving. Thank you. Have a nice comment.